Before we go anywhere, let's take a breath together. So inhaling through your nose and slowly exhaling. Good. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a breakthrough? A moment where something clicked, where you finally understood something about yourself, where you felt genuinely different, lighter, clearer, more aligned, and you thought, okay, that's it, I've got it. Things are going to be different now. And then a few weeks later, a few days later, you're right back to where you started. Same reaction, same pattern, same feeling. And you think, what is wrong with me? Why do I keep doing this? I know better. Why can't I just be better? Nothing is wrong with you. But here's something very specific happening in your nervous system that nobody is explaining to you. And once you understand it, everything changes. Before we get into the why, I want to get specific because I want you to actually see yourself in this. So you decide you're done people pleasing. You mean it, you feel it, you're done. 2 days later, you're saying yes to something you desperately wanted to say no to again. And when you don't even fully know how it happened, you have a therapy session. You feel amazing walking out. Clear, seen, like something generally shifted. You drive home feeling like a different person. And by that evening, the anxiety is back. The tightness is back. The same thoughts are back. Like the session never happened. You go on a retreat, a weekend of breathwork, meditation, and stillness. You come home finally feeling complete, transformed. You tell yourself this is the turning point. 2 weeks later, you're back in the same stress responses, the same reactions, the same patterns. And you're in the middle of an argument. And you actually recognize your pattern while it's happening. You can see yourself doing it. You know exactly what's going on. And you still can't stop yourself from finishing the argument the same way you always do. You swear you're going to stop overthinking before bed. And then it's 2 a.m. You're running through every conversation, every decision, every possible thing that could go wrong again. You know your worth. You truly believe it. You've done the work around it. And then one comment from the wrong person, one look, one tone of voice, one small moment of dismissal, and you spiral for days. You tell yourself this relationship is different, the job is different, the situation is different. And then slowly, so slowly you almost don't notice, it becomes exactly the same as the last one. Does any of this sound familiar? It's not weakness. It's not lack of effort. That's not you failing at healing. That's a nervous system that hasn't caught up to what your mind now understands. And that distinction, that one distinction changes everything about how you approach this. Here's the first thing I need you to understand. Knowing something is not the same as changing something. You can know every single little thing about why you have anxiety. You can understand your childhood wounds. You can identify your triggers. You can name your patterns. You can read every book, listen to every podcast, go to every therapy session, and you still fall back into the same pattern. Not because you're not smart enough, not because you're not trying hard enough, but because understanding lives in your mind and your pattern lives in your body. Your nervous system doesn't care what you know. It cares about what it is or what it has practiced. It cares what has repeated thousands of times. It cares what it has learned to do automatically without thinking in order to keep you safe. Until you change what's practiced in the body, the pattern stays the same. No matter how much you understand it, no matter how many breakthroughs you have, no matter how clearly you see what is happening. Let me explain what's actually happening neurologically. Your brain is designed to be efficient. It doesn't want you to use more energy than it has to, so it takes things you do repeatedly, the reactions, the behaviors, the emotional responses. It turns them into automatic programs, neural pathways. Think of it like a path through a field. The first time you walk through that field, you're pushing through the grass. It takes effort. But the second time, there's a faint little trail. The third time, it's a little clearer. The 100th time, it's a worn path. The 1000th time, it's practically a road. Your patterns are roads. They've been walked so many times that your nervous system can travel them without thinking. Someone says the wrong thing, your nervous system is already on the road. You feel stressed, your nervous system's already on the road. A familiar situation comes up, your nervous system is already on that road. Before your conscious mind even has registered what's happening, before you even have a chance to choose differently. And the thing is, it's not a weakness, it's efficiency. Your brain built those roads to protect you, but now those roads are taking you somewhere you don't want to go. And awareness alone doesn't close that road. It just means you can see what's ahead of you, which is why you can't watch yourself doing the pattern. Why you can watch yourself doing the pattern and still not be able to stop it in the moment. The road is already moving beneath you. So what happens when you have a breakthrough? When something clicks and you feel it generally different, that moment of insight creates a new neural connection, a new possibility, a new path through the field. But it's brand new. It's just a faint trail, barely visible, and that old road, still there, still worn in, still a path your nervous system defaults to under stress, under pressure, under the familiar triggers of everyday life. So this is why breakthroughs feel amazing in the moment, and then life happens, stress happens, a familiar situation happens. Your nervous system goes right back into the road it knows, not because the breakthrough wasn't real, but because the shift didn't happen. But because the insight doesn't rewire the nervous system. Repetition rewires the nervous system. A new path has to be walked on again and again and again and again before it becomes a road your nervous system reaches for automatically. This takes time, this takes practice, takes consistency, not intensity. Here's something really important. When you're under stress, your nervous system narrows. It doesn't expand into new possibilities. It contracts into what it knows, into what has kept it safe before, into the oldest and most worn road it has. This is why you can do really well for a while. When life is calm, when you have space, when you're not overwhelmed, and then something stressful happens, a difficult relationship, a work crisis, a health scare, a financial pressure, and suddenly you're reacting the same way you used to react. Exactly the way you thought you'd move past, exactly the pattern you swore you were done with. It feels like failure. It feels like you lost the progress you made. Like it was all pointless. But you haven't lost it. What's actually happening is the stress is narrowing your nervous system back to its defaults, back to the oldest roads. And the real work, the work that is most people ever, the work that most people never get to, is expanding your window of tolerance. Building through safety in your nervous system, that even under stress, even when life gets hard, you have access to more than just the old road. That makes more than insight. That takes more than insight. It takes practice in the body over time. So what's actually missing for most people? It's not information, it's not understanding, it's not more breakthroughs. It's embodied repetition. Real change requires 3 things working together: awareness, understanding the pattern, where it came from, and what it's protecting; regulation, calming the nervous system enough that it can actually receive the information and practice new responses; 3, repetition, practicing a new response again and again and again and again until it becomes the new default. Most approaches stop at awareness. They give you the insight and send you on your way. But awareness without regulation and repetition is just understanding without change. It's knowing the road without being able to leave it. The body needs to practice safety. The nervous system needs to experience regulation repeatedly over and over and over and over. Hence why these are lifestyle changes. Until regulation becomes a new normal, until the pause becomes automatic, until the new response becomes the road. That's why 10 minutes every day beats one big retreat every 6 months. That's why consistency matters more than intensity. That is why the small daily practice, the one that doesn't feel dramatic, the one that doesn't feel like a breakthrough, the one that feels almost too quiet to be doing anything, is actually the most powerful thing you can do. Because the nervous system learns through repetition, not through single powerful exercises, through showing up again and again and again and again, building a new road one step at a time. So what does this actually mean for you? It means you stop measuring progress by how many breakthroughs you've had and start measuring it by how consistent your practice is. It means you stop expecting one thing to fix everything and start building something you return to daily. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, especially when it feels like nothing is happening, because that's when the nervous system is quietly doing the work, building the new road, laying down the new pathways, learning a new default. It means you stop judging yourself when you fall back into the old patterns, because falling back isn't failure. It's your nervous system under stress returning to what it knows. And your job is not to be perfect. Your job is to notice, to return to your practice, to keep walking the new road. And every time you catch yourself in the old pattern, you choose differently, even once, even imperfectly. You're laying down the new pavement. You're making a new road a little more solid, a little more accessible, a little more automatic. That's how change actually happens. Not in a not in a breakthrough, in the returning. So if you had the insight, you've done the work, you've had the breakthroughs, and you keep falling back, stop calling it failure. Start calling it what it actually is. A nervous system that hasn't had enough repetition yet. So you're not broken, weak, or doing it wrong. You're just trying to use awareness to do the job only practice can do. You don't need another breakthrough. You need a practice. You need consistency. You need to walk the new road enough times that your nervous system starts to choose it automatically. Change doesn't happen in the moment of insight. It happens in a thousand small moments after that. When you notice a pattern, when you choose differently, when you return to the practice, when you keep showing up, even if it's quiet, even if it's slow, even when it feels like nothing is happening. That's where the real work is. That's where the real change happens. Not in a breakthrough. It's in the returning. And I'll see you in the next one.